Hello guys, today we're looking at the Dragon Star Series 5 KO Build-A-Figure Wave Jiren figure. This figure comes included with the KO Build-A-Figure head, which I'll post a picture of right there. And aside from that, it comes included with 2 accessories, 4 if you count both sets of hands. And we'll start off by looking at those. As we can see here, Jiren here, sorry if I called him Kill before, includes these open palms. Oops. These open palm hands. Here's the right now, as well as his closed palms hands, which he currently has on. We'll pop one off for you just to show it off and show off that the open palm can easily just pop right on. I say it easily, and then there we go. And these hands are very well sculpted. They're very clean. All the detail on them is fairly crisp. You have a little bit of smoothing over where these joints, where the fingers lock in, but you can still make out all the fingers, and it's still a very nice sculpt. And unfortunately, that's the nicest part of the figure, because everything else really pales in comparison to how well they did the hands, and we'll get to that in just a second here. But first, we'll look at the articulation. He comes with a ball-jointed head, ball-jointed neck, ball-jointed shoulder, swivel bicep, double-jointed elbow, ball-jointed wrist, only a swivel torso, ball-jointed hip, double-jointed knee, and then a ball-jointed ankle. And I say only a swivel on the torso because this figure would have definitely benefited from a ball joint or at least an ab rocker or something, because you really can't get much motion with him because he's always standing straight up. You can only move his torso forward or back using his legs, and he always has to have this straight upright posture. Can't pose him any other way, and he really suffers as a figure because of it. And then also a large issue with this figure is his paint job. It's all a bit too glossy. I know it doesn't look too glossy here, but in person, especially his head, is much too glossy. It really should be much more of a matte with just his eyes being glossy. His eyes should have maybe a little bit of glare off of them. I've seen a lot of people do little customs in which they add a little bit of white gloss to his eye and it makes it look 100% better. But unfortunately, this is the base figure we get, and this is the base figure I'm looking at. So articulation wise, we're good. Paint job wise, as I've been saying, we're not so good. As you can see from the back, really not much going on from there either. And from the side, and from the other side as well. Really not much going on. Fairly simple design, and the sculpt itself isn't that bad. It's fairly good. We got a brand new sculpt, but paint job definitely doesn't help it, and then the articulation definitely does not help it. Missing the ab crunch, as well as these hips, they rock back and forth really easily. As you can see here, no difficulty at all. And they really remind me of the Series 1 Vegeta and all the problems that figure had. So if you weren't a fan of that figure, you're probably not going to be a fan of this one. I mean, it stands in with your figure arts figures well if you have it in a very simple display, but most fighting poses he won't really be able to accomplish just due to the lack of motion in his torso. And finally, this figure is not near as weighty as you think it may be. Here is a figure in the company in the same wave here, the blue Vegeta, which I looked at yesterday. And even though Jiren is a much bigger, taller figure, all around just a larger presence, he really doesn't feel it. If anything, Blue Vegito is heavier. I'll actually throw both these guys on a small scale I have. I'll put him back up. And I'll post both of their weights. I'm not including their accessories, just what they're shown here. His weight, and then Jiren's. And as you can see, I'm not sure if it's really quite close, or if it really feels like Vegito's heavier, and that's a big problem because I feel like his torso is just empty. It's just an empty cast on the inside, and that really hurts it because the weightiness of the figure would have felt nice, especially with the lack of articulation in the torso. But instead we got this really lightweight figure that doesn't stand all, well, it stands fine, but it doesn't pose all that well. The paint job's not that great. Sculpt is decent, but the head sculpt could definitely use some work. And overall, it's just not the great Jiren figure we really wanted. I thought they'd keep improving with the Dragon Stars line, but Series 5 definitely took a hit. It's definitely the weakest series since Series 2, I'd say. Series 3 and 4 blew it out of the water, and it's just very weak. Hopefully Series 6 comes here, we get to finish our Kale Build-A-Figure, and we get a resurgence of good figures in the line. But overall, due to all these figures' issues, I'm going to give this figure a 6 out of 10. And I know a lot of people have been trashing this figure completely, like they've been putting it next to their figure arts and being like, wow, what a piece of garbage. And compared to a figure arts, it kind of is a piece of garbage. A lot of people are just buying this for the Kale Build-A-Figure part, and a lot of people are just buying this to stand in. That's all fair. It's a decent figure, and I understand it's a $20 price point, but we've been shown in the past with Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta that they can do nicer figures with good detail and good painting, and this one just didn't do that. And it is because of that I docked it so many points, and if you still feel the need to buy this one, go out and pick it up. But it's definitely not a necessity, and it's definitely not the perfect Jiren. Hopefully Figure Arts makes that, or maybe really far down the line when they've actually created all the characters, they redo this one. But that's a while away. So thank you for watching.